My name is Izetta Hoover. I'm 28 years old. When I was 17, my father, a wealthy orthopedic surgeon earning over $400,000 a year, sat me down and coldly said, "You're a selfish, heartless monster. If you won't give your kidney to save an innocent child, then you're no daughter of mine. You're dead to me." That same night, he threw me out onto the street with nothing but a duffel bag and $200. He already knew I was the perfect match, better than any stranger on the donor list. But he never asked. He just planned to force me, then disowned me the moment I said no. 11 years later, I'm the assistant director of a homeless shelter in Eugene. Last Tuesday, my case manager handed me an intake folder and whispered, "New guest, rough shape. You should handle this one yourself." I opened it. The last name was Hoover. The gaunt, broken face in the photo was my father's. He walked in an hour later, shoulders slumped, eyes empty, and looked straight through me like I was a stranger. He had no idea the daughter he called a monster and threw away like garbage is now the only person standing between him and the street. And that's when everything started to reverse. But before I tell you what happened next, you need to understand how we got here. You need to see the night my life broke in half. If this story already has you feeling angry on my behalf, hit that like button right now. And if you've ever been betrayed by someone who was supposed to protect you, drop a comment below with the word betrayed and tell me where you're listening from right now. I read every single one. Now, let's go back to that rainy night 11 years ago. 3 years before that night, my mother died. Ovarian cancer. I was 14. The house became a museum of silence. My father worked longer hours. I learned to microwave my own dinners, and Catherine's reading chair in the living room sat empty except for the ghost of her presence. The blue fabric still smelled like her perfume if I pressed my face into it. I did that sometimes when my father was at the hospital. He never sat in it, never even looked at it. By the time I was 16, he'd met someone new. Amber, pharmaceutical sales rep. 34 years old, blonde, with a practiced smile that never quite reached her eyes. She had a son, Gavin, 9 years old, small for his age, pale, sick. They started appearing at our house in West Hills more and more often. Amber would sit in my mother's chair like she belonged there, flipping through decorating magazines. Gavin's light-up Skechers, size 3, Spider-Man themed, appeared by the front door and stayed there. My father's gold wedding ring, the one with my mother's inscription inside, disappeared from his finger sometime in February. I noticed everything. I always have. One night in late February, I came downstairs for water and heard them talking in his study. The door was closed, but voices carry in that house. My father's study had terrible acoustics, something about the hardwood floors and high ceilings. I stood in the hallway, glass in hand. "Compatible," Amber was saying. "You're sure?" "I ran the panel myself." My father's voice, clinical, certain. 99.8%, better than anyone on the registry. I didn't understand then. I pressed my back against the wall and listened to my own heartbeat. A month later, in March, he called me into the living room. It was a Thursday, March 18th, 8:47 at night. I remember because the mantel clock, the one my mother had bought at an estate sale in Cannon Beach, chimed the quarter hour as I sat down. Amber and Gavin weren't there. Just my father and me and the medical folder on the coffee table between us. "Gavin needs a kidney transplant," he said. No preamble, no softness, the same tone he'd used to tell a patient they needed surgery. "He's dying. Polycystic kidney disease. Genetic. Progressive renal failure. He's on dialysis now, but he's declining fast. Without a transplant, he has maybe 6 months." He opened the folder, showed me charts I didn't understand. Numbers. Graphs. A child's medical death sentence laid out in clinical precision. "You're a perfect match, Izetta. 99.8% compatibility. I ran the tests. My stomach dropped. What tests? Your physical in January. The blood work. I ran the HLA typing panel. I remembered that appointment. He'd said it was for college health requirements. Preventive care. I'd signed the consent form. Generic language about diagnostic laboratory services. I'd rolled up my sleeve and let the phlebotomist take 4 vials of blood, and I'd trusted him. You tested me without telling me. I needed to know our options. Our options? My voice sounded strange in my own ears. Distant. You tested me for transplant compatibility without my permission? He waved that away like it was irrelevant. The surgery is scheduled for April 2nd, spring break. You'll miss 1 week of school. I'll handle all the medical documentation. Recovery is 4 to 6 weeks for donors. You'll be back to normal by graduation. The room tilted slightly. I gripped the arm of the couch. You scheduled a surgery, for me, without asking. I'm telling you now. He leaned forward, hands clasped. Surgeon hands. Steady. Capable of cutting into people and putting them back together. This is happening, Izetta. Gavin needs this. You can save his life. I looked at him. Really looked at him. The man who'd taught me to ride a bike. Who'd helped me build a volcano for the science fair in 6th grade. Who'd held my hand at my mother's funeral and promised we'd be okay. No. The word came out quiet. Certain. His expression didn't change. Excuse me. I said no, I'm not doing it. Izetta. He sat back, controlled, reasonable. He's 9 years old. You're 17 and healthy. 1 kidney is all you need. You'll barely notice the loss. He'll die without this. Then find another donor. You're the best match. Better than anyone on the registry. Your kidney will give him the best chance. You don't get to decide this for me. His jaw tightened. First crack in the facade. He will die. A child will die. And you have the power to prevent it. If you'd asked me, if you'd been honest instead of running secret tests and scheduling surgeries behind my back, maybe I would have considered it. But you didn't ask. You assumed. You lied. You decided for me. I stood up. My legs felt unsteady, but I stayed upright. You tested me under false pretenses. You planned to coerce me into surgery. That's not medicine, Dad. That's manipulation. How dare you? How dare you? My voice stayed level. I was proud of that. It's my body, not yours, not Gavin's, mine. And I'm saying no. The clock chimed 9. He stood, walked to the front door, opened it. Pack your things. You have 1 hour. I stared at him. What? If you can stand there and choose yourself over a dying child, you're not my daughter. I won't have you in this house. Dad, you can't. Don't call me that. You lost that right. He pulled out his phone, called Amber. Come back. Bring Gavin. It's done. The world narrowed to a pinpoint. My mother's chair, the medical folder. My father's back as he stood at the open door, letting in the March rain. You have 55 minutes. I climbed the stairs to my room. The same room I'd had since I was 6. Walls painted lavender because my mother said it would help me sleep. Posters from middle school still up because I'd never gotten around to taking them down. I pulled the black duffel bag from my closet, the one I used for overnight trips to my aunt's house in Seattle. I packed mechanically, clothes, laptop charger, phone charger, toiletries, the framed photo from my nightstand, me and my mother at Cannon Beach, summer of 2007, both of us sunburned and happy. 20 minutes later, Amber and Gavin arrived. I heard the front door, heard her voice dripping with manufactured sympathy. How can you be so heartless? She was crying, actual tears. He's 9 years old, 9. He has his whole life ahead of him. I came downstairs with my duffel bag. Gavin was hiding behind her legs, thin and pale, looking at me like I was the monster my father said I was. My father stood at the door, arms crossed, face like stone. On my bed, he'd left $200 in 20s. I'd put them in my pocket. They were damp from my hands sweating. I hope he gets a kidney, I said. I really do, but it won't be mine. I walked out. The door slammed behind me. I heard the lock click. It was raining harder now. March in Portland, the rain that soaks through everything. I stood in the driveway for a moment looking back at the house. Every window lit up, warm. The home I'd lived in for 11 years. The last place I'd been with my mother. The porch light went out. Then the living room. Then, one by one, the upstairs lights. I walked 6 blocks to the bus stop on Burnside, sat on the green bench with the peeling paint. The rain soaked through my duffel bag. I pulled out my phone. 11:32 at night. Battery at 34%. Called my friend Naomi. No answer. Called my Aunt Ruth in Seattle. Voicemail. Texted Naomi. Can I stay with you tonight? Emergency. Waited. Rain in my hair. Rain on my phone screen. Rain running down the back of my neck. The phone vibrated. What happened? Yes, come over. Address 2847 SE Hawthorne. I took the number 15 bus, sat in the back, watched my old neighborhood disappear through the rain-streaked window. That night, on Naomi's couch, I made myself a promise. I would survive this. I would build a life. And I would never, ever let anyone have that kind of power over me again. The next 4 months were survival. Naomi's couch. Then her friend Claire's air mattress. Then 2 weeks with Aunt Ruth in Seattle until she made it clear I was disrupting her life, and maybe I should consider reconciling with my father. I didn't. I worked at Fred Meyer. Green vest, name tag, stocking shelves, saved every paycheck, finished high school through a GED program in June, applied to Portland State, got a full ride, Pell Grant, Oregon Opportunity Grant, and a scholarship for first-generation students. The irony wasn't lost on me. My father made $400,000 a year, but I qualified as independent because he'd kicked me out. In September, I heard through a mutual acquaintance that Gavin had gotten a kidney. Transplant from the registry. Emergency allocation. He'd survived. I felt nothing. Then relief. Then anger. Then nothing again. He hadn't needed my kidney after all. My father married Amber in June of 2016. I saw the announcement in the Oregonian. Small ceremony. Intimate. I wasn't invited. I hadn't expected to be. I moved into the Portland State dorms in September 2015. Declared my major, social work, sophomore year. Something about the field called to me. Maybe because I'd needed help and hadn't gotten it. Maybe because I understood what it felt like to be thrown away. I interned at a homeless youth program downtown. Met my mentor there, Dr. Lillian Reeves. She was the director. 50-something, with gray hair and eyes that saw everything. She watched me work with clients for 3 weeks before pulling me aside. "You're good at this," she said. "You understand trauma without needing it explained." I didn't tell her why. During junior year, I started going by Etta. Easier, shorter. It felt like shedding skin. By senior year, I'd made another decision. I'd use my mother's maiden name professionally. Catherine Howard. I'd become Etta Howard. It honored her. It created distance from him. I graduated in May 2019 with my BSW, 21 years old. I'd built a new life from nothing. I had friends, a degree, a future. I saw a job posting in June. Second Chance Housing Initiative, Eugene, Oregon. Case manager position, entry level. BSW required. Eugene was 110 miles from Portland, 2 hours by car. Far enough. I applied. Got the interview, got the job. I moved to Eugene that summer. Started work in a converted warehouse that housed 30 beds for homeless individuals. My job was intake, crisis intervention, housing placement, case management, helping people who'd lost everything find their way back. I was good at it, better than good. Clients responded to me. I had boundaries. I'd learned those the hard way, but I had compassion too. The staff became my family. Monica Chen, my supervisor. Warm, practical, a single mother who somehow balanced everything. Luis Vargas, facilities manager. Funny, kind, kept the building running and the residents safe. Patricia Mills, our nurse. No nonsense, competent. The kind of person you wanted in a crisis. In 2020, I adopted a dog. Brown mutt from the shelter, loyal and uncomplicated. I named her Pepper. She slept at the foot of my bed and greeted me every day like I was the best thing in her world. In January 2024, I was promoted to assistant director. I was 26. I'd worked hard for it, earned it. My name badge read, Etta Howard, assistant director. No one at work knew my real last name. No one knew about my father. I'd built this life with intention. Every brick placed carefully, every boundary marked clearly. I saw a therapist, Dr. Susan Waller, twice a month. We worked on trust issues, abandonment wounds, the particular pain of being thrown away by the person who was supposed to love you most. I learned, family isn't blood. Family is choice. I heard things sometimes through old Portland connections. Vincent Hoover had a second child, a daughter named Lily, born in April 2020. His practice was thriving. He and Amber had bought a bigger house. His life looked perfect. I felt nothing about it. The wound had healed into a scar. Still there. Still marked me. But it didn't bleed anymore. Then, in late 2023, I got a text from an old college classmate. Did you hear about Dr. Hoover? Lost his medical license? Malpractice case. It's bad. I stared at the message for a long time. Typed. No, I hadn't heard. Then deleted it. Blocked the number. Went back to my life. I didn't think about him much after that. Maybe once a month. Maybe less. Just a passing thought. I wonder if he's still in Portland. I wonder if he ever thinks about what he did. I didn't look him up. Didn't dig deeper. What would be the point? My life was full. Good work. Chosen family. A dog who loved me. A small apartment with plants on the windowsill. Friday night dinners with my co-workers. Book club. Morning runs along the Willamette River. I'd survived. More than that, I'd thrived. And then, on a Tuesday evening in March, Monica handed me a folder. New guest, she said. Came in last night during your day off. Older man. Medical history. Rough shape. You're better with the complicated cases. The folder was manila, worn at the edges. Standard intake form clipped inside. I opened it. Name, Vincent Hoover. Age, 56. Last known address, Portland, Oregon. Current status, homeless, 20 months. Medical history, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, no insurance, no medications. Emergency contact, none. Previous occupation, physician, license revoked. The photo was a DMV-style shot. Gaunt, bearded, gray, eyes hollow. Nothing like the man I remembered, but unmistakable. My hands didn't shake. I kept them very still. Etta? Monica was watching me. You okay? You look pale. I'm fine. My voice came out normal. Calm. Professional. Years of training with traumatized clients helped. I'll handle the intake. You sure? I can take this one. No, I've got it. She nodded and left. I sat at my desk, stared at the photo. At the name, typed in 12-point Arial. Vincent Hoover. My father. In my shelter. The clock on my wall read 6:18 p.m., Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. I stood, smoothed my shirt, checked my name badge. Etta Howard, assistant director. He wouldn't recognize that name. Howard was my mother's maiden name. Etta was barely related to Izetta, and 11 years was a long time. I'd changed, cut my hair, lost the glasses, filled out, grew up. I walked to the intake area. He was sitting in the plastic chair by the door, head down, gray duffel bag at his feet, the same position I'd been in 11 years ago. One bag, nowhere to go, waiting for mercy. Mr. Hoover? He looked up. Our eyes met. Nothing. No recognition, no spark, no moment of realization. I saw a stranger looking at a stranger. Yes. His voice was rough, tired. That's me. I'm Etta Howard, assistant director. Let's get you checked in. He stood, followed me to the desk, sat across from me. I opened the file, picked up my pen, started the intake questions. How did you hear about Second Chance? Man at the bus station. Said you take walk-ins. How long have you been unhoused? 8 months on the street. 20 altogether if you count living in my car. His hands rested on the table. Surgeon hands. Long fingers. Structurally elegant. But shaking now. Nails dirty. Calloused. Medical conditions we should know about? Diabetes. Type 2. Hypertension. Haven't had medications in about 4 months. I made notes. Kept my face neutral. We have a nurse on staff. I'll schedule you for Thursday. Thank you. He met my eyes, briefly. I appreciate that. Previous occupation? A pause. I was a surgeon, orthopedic. Lost my license 3 years ago. Emergency contact? Anyone we can call if there's a medical issue? The pause was longer this time. He looked down at his hands. No. No one. I'm alone. I wrote. Emergency contact. None. I'm going to explain our shelter rules, I said. 72-hour emergency stay. Then we evaluate for our extended program, which can go up to 3 weeks. Curfew is 10 p.m. Lights out at 11. No drugs, no alcohol. Zero tolerance policy. Mandatory daily check-ins. Meals are at 7 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. Laundry access Tuesdays and Saturdays. You'll have a case management meeting within 48 hours. He nodded at each point. Defeated compliance. We have a nurse who comes Thursday mornings. I'll put you on the schedule for March 5th. She'll review your diabetes and blood pressure, help you get medications through the county assistance program. Thank you, Miss Howard. He said it quietly, respectfully. I haven't had proper medical care in a while. Miss Howard, not Miss Hoover. Because I was Etta Howard now, because he had no idea. Bed assignment is number 12. Men's dormitory, 3rd floor, corner by the window. I filled out the bed card, meal tickets, medical appointment card, moved through the protocol like I'd done 1,000 times before. Can I ask your name again? He said. I want to remember who helped me. Etta Howard. Miss Howard, thank you. I handed him the locker key. Number 12, same as his bed number. Do you have belongings to inventory? He opened the gray duffel bag. 3 shirts, 2 pairs of pants, 1 jacket, toiletries. A small Ziploc bag labeled important in shaky handwriting. Just papers, he said, protective. Personal documents. Important to me. That's fine. You can keep sealed documents in your locker. I didn't press. Not yet. I used to be somebody, you know. He said it to the table, to himself. Long time ago. A lot of our guests have complicated pasts. I kept my voice professional. Even. You're not alone in that. I handed him his intake packet. Signed the form at the bottom. E. Howard. March 3rd, 2026. I'll walk you to the dining area. Dinner service is until 7:30. I led him through the hallway. Gave him a tray. Vegetable soup, bread roll, apple, water. He took it with both hands like it was precious. He sat alone at one of the long tables, ate slowly, mechanically, didn't look around, didn't try to connect with the other residents, just ate. I watched from my office window, saw him finish, stack his tray neatly, sit there for a moment, unsure what to do next. Luis noticed, directed him to the third floor. Vincent followed without question. I returned to my desk, looked at the intake form, the line for my signature, processed by E. Howard. He'd see that name on every document. E. Howard. Etta Howard. Never Izetta Hoover. Never his daughter. At 9:30, my shift ended. I sat in my Honda Civic in the parking lot for 10 minutes, hands on the steering wheel. Rain starting again. Oregon rain. Persistent and cold. Pepper was waiting when I got home. Tail wagging. Simple love. Uncomplicated. I knelt and hugged her, held on longer than usual. I texted Dr. Waller. Emergency? Can we meet tomorrow? She replied within minutes. Of course. 4 p.m.? Yes. Thank you. I tried to sleep. Couldn't. Lay in the dark thinking, why here? Why my shelter? Coincidence? Karma? A test? No answers came. At 6:30 a.m., I got ready for work. Professional clothes, hair neat, name badge, Etta Howard, assistant director. I drove back to Second Chance. Vincent would be there, in the common area probably, eating breakfast, starting his second day. And I would have to decide what to do with the power I now held. The first week, I watched him. He followed the shelter routine like a man who'd lost the ability to make decisions. Woke at 6:30, showered, ate breakfast at 7, the same seat every time, third table from the door, back to the wall. Then he'd sit in the common area until lunch. There was a window that overlooked the parking lot. He'd sit in the brown armchair in the corner, away from the TV, away from the other residents, just staring out at the rain, at the trees, at nothing. Luis mentioned it on day 3. That Hoover guy? Super quiet, keeps his space clean, no trouble. But man, he's sad. Like, waiting for something that's never coming kind of sad. Some people take time to adjust, I said. You want me to try talking to him? Give him space. He'll open up when he's ready. If he ever was. Thursday morning, Patricia examined him. I read her notes afterward. Blood pressure, 168/98, stage 2 hypertension. Blood glucose 201, uncontrolled diabetes. Weight 162 pounds at 6'1", underweight, dehydration, vitamin deficiencies likely. He needs metformin and lisinopril immediately, Patricia told me. His BP is dangerously high. He could stroke out. And that blood sugar, he could go into diabetic crisis any time. What did he say about his history? Said he was a doctor, knew all the terminology, answered my questions like he'd been on the other side of this exam 1,000 times. She paused. It's strange, seeing a physician as a patient in a homeless shelter. Life comes at you fast sometimes. Yeah, it does. I approved the transportation voucher for his county clinic appointment. Scheduled it for March 12th. Friday, I had my case management meeting with him. Standard questions in the small conference room. Just the two of us, a table, 2 chairs, a box of tissues he didn't use. What brought you here, Mr. Hoover? Lost everything. Needed help. What are your goals? He hesitated. Get back on my feet. I don't know what that looks like anymore. A job, maybe. A place to live. Some kind of stability. Tell me about your employment history. I was an orthopedic surgeon for 22 years. Portland. Lost my license in March of 2023. Malpractice case. He said it flatly. No pride, just facts. What happened? I made a mistake during surgery. Left an instrument inside a patient's joint. He suffered. required multiple corrective surgeries. I was sued, lost my license, lost everything. Family support? No, I was married. Divorced August 2023. My ex-wife got the assets. I have a son from her previous relationship. I raised him, paid for his education. He doesn't speak to me now. Parents? Siblings? Parents deceased. No siblings. Any other family? The pause stretched. He looked at his hands. I had a daughter. From my first marriage. Her mother died when she was 14. He stopped. Started again. I lost her too. Years ago. Lost her how? I made a choice. A terrible choice. She left. I haven't seen her in 11 years. I wrote in the file, estranged from adult daughter. 11 years. Expresses remorse. Father's fault per self-report. Do you regret it? He looked up, met my eyes directly for the first time. Every single day. It was the worst mistake of my life. Worse than the malpractice. Worse than anything. I held his gaze. What choice did you make? I asked something of her she couldn't give. Then I punished her for saying no. I was her only family after her mother died, and I threw her away. His voice cracked slightly. What kind of father does that? A human one, a flawed one. He shook his head. No, I was cruel. I was wrong, and I've paid for it. But she paid more. I closed the file. We'll work on getting you into job training, transitional housing. It takes time. Are you willing to do the work? Yes. Anything. Over the weekend, I watched him more closely. He helped without being asked. Wiped tables after meals, stacked chairs, held doors. He read donated magazines in the common area, old copies of National Geographic from 2018, a medical journal someone had left, Journal of Orthopedic Surgery. He read it like a man starving for something familiar. Sunday evening, he stood at the bulletin board for a long time. There was a flyer for a job fair on March 20th. I saw him reach out, touch it, then drop his hand and walk away. Monday night, I was working late. Heard something from the hallway near the men's dormitory. A voice. Quiet. Muffled. I checked. Vincent was at the payphone, the old wall-mounted one we kept for residents who didn't have cells. I heard him before I saw him. Gavin, it's me, Vincent. Can we talk? Pause. Please. Just 5 minutes. Another pause. Longer. I know. I understand, but His face crumpled. Please don't hang up. Click. Dial tone. He stood there, shoulders shaking. Didn't notice me in the hallway shadow. Wiped his face. Walked back to the dormitory. I returned to my office. Pulled up Gavin's Instagram, public profile. Recent post from March 8th. Blessed for another year. 10 years post-transplant and still going strong. Thankful for my donor, my family, and everyone who supported me. Life is good. Hashtag kidney warrior, hashtag gratitude. Photo of Gavin running. Healthy, strong, smiling. University of Washington track uniform. The caption mentioned his donor. A stranger. Not Vincent's daughter. Not me. He'd never known Vincent had tried to force me. I closed the browser. Tuesday morning, Monica approached me. Hoover's 3 days are up. Do we extend? Yes. He's cooperative. Medical needs. Compliant with all rules. Extend to the standard 3 weeks. We're at 29 out of 30 capacity. I know. She studied me. You sure about this one? I'm sure. All right. But if anything feels off, you tell me. I will. That evening, Vincent was in the common area again, staring at his hands. I watched from the hallway. He looked up at the ceiling. His lips moved. Was he praying? Crying? Both? He stood, walked toward the dormitory. Passed me without seeing me. Good night, Miss Howard. Good night, Mr. Hoover. He continued on. I thought, he called me Miss Howard. If he knew, would he fall to his knees? Rage? Beg? I'll never know, because I'm never telling him. Wednesday, March 11th. Vincent had a county clinic appointment. Luis drove him in the shelter van. I did the weekly locker check. Standard protocol, safety inspection for contraband. Normally, I'd delegate to Luis, but this week I said I'd do it. Locker number 12. I opened it with my master key. Inside, folded clothes, clean from the Tuesday laundry, toiletries, the Ziploc bag marked important. I hesitated. Policy allowed opening suspicious items. This wasn't suspicious. I opened it anyway. Documents, medical license, State of Oregon, Vincent Hoover, MD, license number MD-47382, issued 2001, red stamp across it, expired March 15th, 2023, divorce decree, Multnomah County Circuit Court, Amber Keys Hoover versus Vincent Hoover, finalized August 15th, 2023, bankruptcy filing, Chapter 7, assets liquidated, debts, $487,000, a settlement agreement from the divorce. I skimmed it. Petitioner, Amber Keys Hoover, to receive. Primary residence, value $680,000. 401k retirement account, value $240,000. Joint savings, $52,000. 2019 Audi Q7. Respondent, Vincent Hoover, to receive. Personal effects only. He'd gotten nothing. She'd taken everything. Another document. Legal paper. Medical board letterhead. Case summary. Patient Gerald Vance, age 52. Knee replacement surgery, June 2021. Complication. Surgical instrument, hemostat. Left inside joint space. Required emergency removal surgery. Patient developed severe infection, permanent mobility limitation, chronic pain. Lawsuit filed October 2021. Finding, gross negligence, failure to perform instrument count protocol. License revoked effective March 15th, 2023. I stared at that. He'd left a surgical clamp inside someone's knee, a preventable mistake, the kind that ended careers, the kind that showed the same pattern, assumptions without checking, decisions without care. A letter, recent, dated May 2024, lined notebook paper, young handwriting. Dad, I can't keep doing this. You call every week. Leave voicemails. I've told you. I need space. Mom's right. You made your choices. I'm grateful you helped pay for my transplant in college, but I can't be responsible for fixing what happened between you two. I have my own life now, my own family. Please stop calling. Gavin. The boy he'd demanded my kidney for, the boy he'd destroyed our family over, wouldn't talk to him now. At the bottom of the Ziploc, a photo, folded, old, worn. I unfolded it carefully. Beach photo, Cannon Beach. Summer 2007. I recognized the rocks in the background. Haystack Rock, the iconic Oregon coast landmark. 3 people. Vincent, younger, confident, smiling. Catherine, beautiful, healthy, radiant. Me at 10 years old, gap-toothed, messy ponytail, pink swimsuit, holding a sandcastle bucket. We looked happy. The photo was faded. Edges worn soft from handling. Creased down the middle like it had been folded and unfolded many times. One corner torn. I turned it over. My mother's handwriting, blue ballpoint pen, faded but legible. Cannon Beach. Summer 2007. Our happy place. Love always. C. He'd kept this. Through his marriage to Amber, through Lily's birth, through the divorce, through losing his house, his car, his life, through 20 months of homelessness. He'd kept this photo of the family he'd destroyed. I heard footsteps. Vincent returning from the clinic. I put everything back exactly as I'd found it. Folded the photo the same way. Sealed the Ziploc. Closed the locker. Stood. Miss Howard? He appeared at the end of the hall. Oh, what are you doing up here? Locker checks. Safety protocol. Everything's fine. The clinic gave me medications. He held up a white pharmacy bag. Free program. First doses in 4 months. Excellent. Make sure you take them as directed. I will. Thank you for arranging it. He walked to his locker, put the pharmacy bag inside. I stayed professional, distant. But that night at home, I couldn't stop thinking. I opened my laptop, searched. Gerald Vance, Portland, Oregon. NID. Found an obituary. December 8th, 2024. Gerald Vance, 55, passed peacefully. Survived by wife Donna, children Michael and Sarah. Gerald struggled with chronic pain following a medical procedure in 2021, but faced each day with courage. Medical procedure, chronic pain. Vincent's mistake had killed him. Eventually. I searched Vincent's name, found old articles. Dr. Vincent Hoover performs 500th successful knee replacement from 2018. Awards. Recognition. Then. Portland surgeon faces malpractice lawsuit from 2021. Oregon Medical Board revokes license from 2023. His fall was documented. Public. Anyone could see it. I found one more thing, a GoFundMe from 2022. Title: Help Dr. Vincent Hoover Fight Unjust Lawsuit. Set up by Amber, raised $8,400. Her update from March 2023. Thank you to everyone who supported us. Unfortunately, Vincent lost his license. We are devastated but will persevere. God bless. Comments below. Sympathy. Outrage at the system. No updates after the divorce. The page abandoned. Money raised by friends who believed in him. Wife who left the moment the money stopped. I closed the laptop. Thursday at 4 p.m. I met with Dr. Waller. My father is a resident at my shelter, I said. No preamble. He doesn't recognize me. I found documents in his belongings. He lost everything. License, marriage, family, money. He's broken. And I'm the one helping him. Dr. Waller set down her pen. How do you feel? Angry, sad, powerful, confused, all at once. What do you want to do? I don't know. Tell him? Kick him out? Help him? I don't know. Closure doesn't require confrontation, she said gently. Sometimes peace comes from choosing silence. What would telling him accomplish? I thought about that. Revenge? Vindication? Maybe nothing. And helping him without him knowing? Maybe that's the ultimate power. He's at my mercy, and I can choose mercy without needing him to know who I am. We sat in silence. What if I just help him? I said. See if he can change. See who he becomes, without knowing I'm watching. Is that cruel? Or kind? What does your gut say? Both. It's both. Monday, March 16th, 12:15 p.m. I was at my desk near the dining hall. Vincent was eating lunch. I saw him through the window. He stood suddenly, swayed, grabbed the table edge. Luis ran over. You okay, man? Vincent said something I couldn't hear, then collapsed. Hit the floor hard. I was moving before I thought. Phone out. Call 911. Patricia appeared with the emergency glucometer, checked his blood sugar. 42. Severe hypoglycemia. Diabetic crisis, Patricia said. Give me the glucose gel. She squeezed it into his mouth. His eyes were unfocused. Confused. Where am I? He mumbled. The ambulance arrived in 8 minutes. I rode with him. Policy. Staff accompanies residents to emergency situations. In the back of the ambulance, they got an IV in, dextrose running, Vincent drifting in and out. I held his hand. He didn't know whose hand it was, just that someone was there. At the ER, they stabilized him. The doctor pulled me aside. Is there family we can contact? No, he's alone. I'm from the shelter where he's staying. He needs strict medication compliance, regular meals, monitoring. Can your facility provide that? We have a nurse twice weekly. I'll make sure he's monitored daily. He's lucky this time. Next time, he might not be. They discharged him at 4:30. No insurance to keep him. I drove him back in the shelter van. He was quiet. Weak. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, Miss Howard. It's part of the job. No. He looked at me. Really looked. It's more than that. You actually care. I can tell. Thank you. The next morning, Monica approached me in the hallway. We need to talk about Hoover. What about him? He's been here 2 weeks. Policy is 3 weeks maximum for emergency shelter. We're at 31 beds. Over capacity. We have a wait list of 8 people. He needs to transition to a longer-term program, or we need the bed. He just had a medical crisis yesterday. He's not stable. I know, Etta. But we have protocols. What's the plan? Give me 1 more week. March 24th. I'll have him placed. Monica studied me. You're more invested in this case than usual. Is there something I should know? No. He reminds me of someone, and I think he deserves a real chance. 1 week, March 24th. After that, we need movement. Thank you. She turned to go, then stopped. Boundaries, Etta. Don't lose yourself in this. I won't. March 18th, Tuesday. Exactly 11 years to the day. I scheduled a meeting with Vincent in the common area, less formal than the conference room. We sat at one of the small tables. Rain outside. Afternoon, light gray and soft. We need to talk about next steps, I said. You've been here 2 weeks. You're doing well, taking your medications, following rules. But shelter is temporary. We need to plan your transition. I understand. Where do I go? There are options. Transitional housing programs, job training. But it takes work. He nodded. Can I ask you something? He said. Of course. Why are you helping me? Really? You don't know me. I'm just another case. Everyone deserves a chance to rebuild. But there's something else. I can see it. You look at me like, I don't know, like you're deciding something. He was more perceptive than I'd given him credit for. I'm always deciding, I said. Whether someone's ready, whether they'll succeed, whether they're worth the investment of limited resources. And? What have you decided about me? I'm still deciding. Tell me about your daughter. He froze. Why? Because I think that's where this started. Your fall, your mistakes. And maybe that's where your rebuilding needs to start too. He was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. My wife Catherine died when our daughter Izetta was 14. Cancer. I was devastated. Threw myself into work. Met someone new. Amber. Too fast, probably. She had a son. Gavin. 9 years old. Sick. Needed a kidney transplant. He paused, choosing words carefully. I tested Izetta without really explaining. She was a perfect match. Better than anyone on the registry. I planned the surgery. Scheduled it. Told everyone she'd agreed. But I never actually asked her permission. I just assumed. I was a surgeon. Used to making decisions. Used to knowing best. Another pause. She refused. Said I'd lied to her. Tested her under false pretenses. Tried to force her. She was right. But I was so angry. So sure I knew what was right. I told her she was selfish. Heartless. His voice dropped. I kicked her out. She was 17. I kept my face completely neutral. Did the boy get a kidney? Yes. 6 months later, from the registry, he survived. He's thriving now. So she wasn't necessary? No, she wasn't. I destroyed our relationship over something that didn't even matter. He looked at his hands. Gavin would have been fine. But I didn't know that then. Or I didn't want to believe it. Tears ran down his face. Quiet. No sobbing. That night, March 18th, 2015, I threw my daughter out of our house with a duffel bag and $200. I told her she was dead to me, because she wouldn't give her kidney to a boy she barely knew. March 18th, 11 years ago today. Have you tried to find her? I asked. Apologize? No, I don't have the right. She was 17. I was her only family after her mother died, and I threw her away. I chose pride and anger over my daughter. His voice cracked. What kind of father does that? Have you thought about what you'd say if you could talk to her now? He took a long time. I'd say I'm sorry, that she was right and I was wrong, that asking permission matters, that her body is hers, that I should have protected her, not used her, that I failed her as a father. Pause. And I'd say I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope she built a good life, better than what I gave her. I hope she's happy. I hope she found people who deserve her. Because I didn't. I stood, walked to the window, looked out at the rain. I'm going to help you, Mr. Hoover. I'm going to get you into job training. I'm going to find you transitional housing. I'm going to give you a chance to rebuild. He looked up, surprised. Why? Because everyone deserves a second chance. Even people who don't think they do. Even people who made terrible mistakes. Even people who hurt the ones they loved. I won't let you down. Don't let yourself down. I'm just opening doors. You have to walk through them. Miss Howard, I don't know why you're doing this for me, but thank you. You've shown me more grace than I deserve. Maybe that's the point. Grace isn't deserved. It's given. He wiped his eyes. If my daughter had met someone like you, maybe she would have been okay. I turned to face him. Maybe she did. You don't know her story anymore. The final week moved quickly. I enrolled him in job training, Eugene Jobs Partnership, janitorial services, entry-level union work. He attended the orientation on March 21st. Came back with a certificate and actual light in his eyes. I got the position, he told me. I start April 1st. It's cleaning offices, minimum wage, but it's honest work. It's a start, that's all anyone needs. I helped him apply for transitional housing. Lane County program, 6-month lease, subsidized rent, studio apartment, furniture included. His application was approved March 23rd. Move-in date, April 1st. He sat in the common area reading the approval letter over and over. I have an apartment, he said to no one in particular. A real apartment. I haven't had a home in almost 2 years. Luis clapped him on the shoulder. Way to go, Hoover. Tuesday evening, March 24th, we had a small celebration. Shelter tradition for successful transitions. Pizza from a local shop. Cake from the grocery store. White frosting, blue letters. Good luck, Vincent. Staff and some residents gathered. Monica presented him with a certificate of completion. Patricia gave him an extra month's supply of medications. Luis made jokes. Everyone laughed. Vincent gave a short speech. Thank you all. 2 weeks ago, I walked in here broken. You gave me hope. Especially you, Miss Howard. You saw something in me I didn't see in myself. He caught my eye. To anyone struggling, there's hope. People care. Places like this exist. Don't give up. After the celebration, he approached me privately. handed me an envelope. This is for you. Don't open it now. Open it later. What is it? Just something I wanted you to have. Thank you, Miss Howard, for everything. Wednesday morning, March 25th. Exit interview. We sat across from each other one final time. Where will you go from here? I have a job starting tomorrow, an apartment. I'm going to work hard, stay stable. Maybe eventually I'll be strong enough to try to find my daughter. If she'll let me. What would you say to her? The truth. That I was wrong. That she deserved better. That I'm sorry. That I don't expect forgiveness. Just, I want her to know I became someone different. That I learned. Even if it was too late. Why wait? Why not reach out now? Because I have nothing to offer yet. No proof I've changed. Just words. And I gave her too many empty words before. She deserves more than promises. She deserves evidence. I signed the exit form. E. Howard, March 25th, 26. Vincent stood, extended his hand. Thank you, Miss Howard. I'll never forget what you did for me. I stood, shook his hand. Firm grip. Good luck, Vincent. First time I'd used his first name. He smiled. Take care. He walked to the door, paused, turned. If you ever need anything, if this shelter needs anything, let me know. I mean it. He left. I watched from my office window. Luis loaded Vincent's duffel bag into the shelter van. Vincent got in. The van pulled away. Through the back window, I could see him looking forward. Not back. Gone. I stood there for a long time. Monica came up beside me. You did good work with him, Etta. Not everyone makes it. He did. Yeah. You okay? You look sad. I'm fine. Just reflective. Take the afternoon off. You've earned it. After she left, I opened the envelope Vincent had given me. Inside, a handwritten note on lined paper. Dear Miss Howard, I don't have much to give, but I wanted you to have this. Inside the envelope was the photo. Cannon Beach, 2007. Catherine. Vincent. Me at 10 years old. The note continued. This is my family. Before I destroyed it. I carried this for 11 years. But I think it belongs with someone who believes in second chances. Someone like you. Maybe it will remind you that your work matters. That you save lives. Thank you. VH. He'd given me the photo. The only thing he'd kept. The only thing that mattered. He didn't know it was me in that picture. Didn't know he'd given me back a piece of my own history. He thought he was giving it to a stranger. I held the photo, looked at my child self, at my mother, at my father from before, and I cried. First time since he'd arrived. Not from pain, from something else. Something like release. Thursday, March 27th. I received a report from Vincent's new case manager. Vincent Hoover successfully moved into transitional housing, started employment, taking medications, stable. Saturday, March 29th. An email arrived at the shelter's general contact address. Monica forwarded it to me. Subject: Thank you. Vincent Hoover. Dear Miss Howard, I wanted to update you. I've been in my apartment for 4 days. I started my job. It's good work. Honest work. I'm taking my medications, eating regular meals, sleeping in a real bed. 6 months ago, I was sleeping in a park. I don't know how to thank you for giving me this chance. You saved my life. Not just by giving me a bed and a meal, but by showing me what grace looks like. By treating me like I was worth saving before I believed it myself. I hope this doesn't cross boundaries, but I wanted you to know. You changed my life. I'm trying to be worthy of that. I hope to volunteer at Second Chance someday, to help others the way you help me. Thank you. Vincent Hoover. I stared at the email, started to type a response, stopped. Deleted it. Closed the email. No response needed. Let him move forward. Sunday, March 30th, 4 p.m. therapy session. How are you feeling? Dr. Waller asked. Peaceful, sad, relieved, proud, all of it. Proud? He changed. Not because I confronted him, not because I revealed who I am, because he chose to. That feels important. Do you regret not telling him? No. This was never about revenge or reconciliation. It was about me choosing grace. And I did. What did you learn? That healing doesn't require confrontation. That victory doesn't need an audience. That I'm stronger than what happened to me. Dr. Waller smiled. I think you're ready to close this chapter. For real this time. Yeah, I think I am. Monday, March 31st. End of month staff meeting. Izetta, Monica, Luis, Patricia, the case managers. Reviewing March. 47 intakes, 12 successful housing placements, 6 job placements, 3 medical interventions. Luis mentioned Vincent. Got a text from Hoover. Says he wants to donate to the shelter once he gets his first paycheck. Asked what we need. Monica. That's sweet. Patricia. He was a good one. Genuine change. I stayed quiet. Listened. Grateful. After the meeting, we went to the pub down the street. Ordered drinks and appetizers. Talked about everything and nothing. Luis told stories. Patricia complained about the computer system. Monica shared that her daughter got into Oregon State. I sat with Pepper at my feet. She was a certified service dog now, allowed in public places, and listened to my chosen family talk and laugh. My phone buzzed. Text from an old friend. Thinking about you. Hope you're well. I smiled. Typed back. I'm really good, actually. Built a good life. Happy. True statement. Luis raised his glass. To another month down, to our team, to doing good work. Cheers. He turned to me. You seem different lately, Etta. In a good way. Lighter. I am lighter. Let go of something heavy. Good. You deserve peace. Yeah, I think I found it. That night, at home, I opened my desk drawer. Pulled out the photo, Cannon Beach, 2007. Looked at it without pain. Just history. Just a moment frozen in time before everything changed. I pulled out my journal. Leather-bound, years of entries. Wrote, March 31st, 2026 today. I closed a chapter I didn't know was still open. My father came to my shelter. He didn't recognize me. I helped him rebuild. I never told him who I was. He changed. Apologized to a stranger for what he did to me. Meant it. Left without knowing. I chose grace. Not for him. For me. And I'm at peace. Some wounds don't need confrontation. Some victories are silent. Some families are chosen. I'm okay. I'm more than okay. I'm free. I closed the journal, put it away, placed the photo back in the drawer. Not hidden, not displayed. Just there. Tomorrow was April 1st. New month, new beginnings. For Vincent in his apartment, learning to build a life from scratch. For me in my shelter, continuing the work I loved. Our lives had intersected once, briefly, powerfully. Now they were diverging again, both of us better for it. I turned off the light. Pepper curled up at the foot of my bed. Sleep came easy. For the first time in weeks, I didn't dream about the past. I dreamed about the future. And it was good. The end, Vincent Hoover completed his 6-month transitional housing program. He remains employed and stable. He volunteers at Second Chance Housing Initiative twice a month. He still doesn't know Miss Howard is Izetta. They never spoke again about the past. Both found peace in silence. Some stories don't need endings. Some victories don't need witnesses. Some grace doesn't need recognition. And that's enough.